Yeah, so growing up, I always got in trouble playing house at school because I just imitated what I saw at home. They're like, Doug, it's time to play house. I'm like, okay, I'm bad, I'm drunk, I'm going to pass out on the car horn. Oh! It's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're the neighbors, get mad.
I think my humor is starting to jive with what's going on now. People are realizing, that, oh shit, I took out a mortgage. So life's not as peachy as it is. And then here I come talking like, well, it never was. But be happy, you know what I mean?
I'm not making this up. Now, this was told to me by my mother, who is a pathological liar. And I know that sounds made up too, but I promise you. So whether this was true or not, this was still told to me. And if you're a kid and you heard this story, which you're about to hear, okay. March 9th, 1982, Hortensia Montes Jones, who is my mother, I know, went into labor with me. She paged my dad. She goes, all right, I'll be over there shortly. So wait downstairs, I'm gonna come get you. So she's waiting there, and my grandmother, my dad's mom, rolled up, had the windows down, and said, Don told me to tell you the kid wasn't his, and drove off. So I asked my dad, like, is that true, Dad? Like, did that really happen? And he goes, son, it did, and I would have been there, but your mother told me you were a tumor. That's how I came to be. My inception. My mom, I'll always say she was a mother, but she was just a mother in her own way. I wanted cable, so she put it in my name. She didn't work really because she had a problem stealing. But she would support us with money she stole. So it was always like, when I was a kid, she did go to jail for 6 months for writing hot checks. And then my dad, he goes, oh, I love Dad. He was never home. So, I didn't know. My dad only worked briefly. So I was just like, oh, Dad's the working guy. He's the responsible one. And as I got older, I'm like, shit, he's the crazy one too. And, he wouldn't want to work, so my mom would have to come up with money for us. And that's when she'd come up with one of her scams. Like the time she rented a house to somebody she didn't own. She showed the lady the house. She walked her around. I'm going to need a deposit. And my last paycheck from Fratelli's in high school before I started my senior year went back to paying for that deposit. The thing that sucked was we'd have money, then we wouldn't have any money. Because the old joke is, you don't know what you're missing if you never had it, but we had it. So it was always worse. But when you had money, like your dad could afford to buy you Jordans, and then after that you went to like Voight pumps that left black marks on the basketball court, and the pump broke. So it was big. Like I used to get canker sores in my mouth because of stress and all that. I was a stressed out kid. When everything's got bad, we had to go live with Grandma and Grandpa, my dad's parents. My grandma was a sweetheart, big time. She used to drink, and she had her faults, obviously. But yeah, they always took us in. And my grandpa was real old-fashioned, but they always took us in. Like playing baseball with my Mexican side of the family, my Uncle Abel and my cousin Javi and all that, and we were playing baseball, and my Uncle Abel's like, oh, look at him swinging that bat like a pinche white boy. Look at that. And I remember one time opening presents like in front of my white grandpa, and he was like, yeah, look at him getting in there like a little Mexican. So I didn't know where I fit in, and then I looked like my dad, and my mom hated my dad. I guess I would have the typical comedian upbringing, so to speak. What made me want to be a comedian is the first grade, my brother Derek turned on the TV. That's first grade. We weren't supposed to be up. We lived at my grandma's house, and Eddie Murphy Raw was on. Eddie Murphy's my favorite comedian. He's the one I was like, I want to do that. But I would watch things Jim Carrey, and because he was the white guy in Living Color, and like I said, Section 8 housing, you had the white trash hillbillies like us, who were Mexican too. But, I had black and Mexican friends, and I would try doing the jokes. And then I would start doing impersonations. Like in middle school, I did the Bill Clinton, because I started playing, I could do Bill Clinton. I was like, when I was growing up, my mom had a peg leg, which wouldn't be so bad, but we had termites. And it didn't stop her from wanting to be a dancer. And that's what the American economy needs to do. So I think that was like one of the first jokes I really wrote out, and I was practicing. But growing up, and I always told you gotta go to college. I wanted to be like a Navy SEAL for a while to please my dad. I'm glad I didn't keep doing that. My first gig I drove down to Galveston, Texas. I had no money. I had money for gas. there and back. And this is when I was, what I thought healthy. They got my own hotel room. I was like, man, I'm making it. It was like a Ramada Inn. I opened up the curtains and I stared out at the Gulf of Mexico, and I had my loaf of bread and peanut butter. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm making it. I felt alive. My humor is always going to be, not necessarily dark, but it'll always be about family and then me growing up, being evicted. The joke is, because I did get evicted a lot, and it's embarrassing. Have you ever been evicted? Well, here's what happens. You get evicted, you show up, and all your stuff is out on the lawn, and your friends are like, Doug, you getting evicted? I'm like, no, having a garage sale. Why's your mom in handcuffs? She does magic. So, I write about that stuff and growing up that way, and that's why, fate, luck, and chance. That's what I say, where I am and who I am, and so on and so forth. Don't get me wrong, you need to be a hard worker. You need to get out in life and be because you do. There's an aspect of that, but at the same time, I guess I got a little gravel in my gut, as Johnny Cash would say, and I like to talk about that. I like to talk about the common person, like us, grinding it out, trying to pursue dreams that probably aren't going to bring any monetary reward, but we're still good people, and then we're going to be, well, luckily, thanks to student debt and college loans, we can all be artists, right? Yay! I want to be an artist. I want to move to the south of France and be big, Joseph Campbell, and then now Nazim Taleb, those books have been really influential to me, as of probably 2-3 years ago. Oh, good old, I like Tony Robbins, too. He's a good guy. Those have been, really big for me, to really be, appreciate things. Because it is easy to succumb to, like I said, I'm 30. I was going to be a big star 5 years ago. I moved from San Antonio, Texas, because my name is Doug Jones, and it hadn't happened. Whether it's because life, I was having fun. A lot of it was. I was just like, oh, shit, I'm having fun in life now. But it's still hard to, really do what you want to do, because people always have an opinion, and especially nowadays that your life is your gossip mag, Facebook, is being transplanted everywhere. You're going to feel left out, you know what I mean? Yes, you'll have to suffer. You'll have to, have the job waiting tables, the weird jobs to get to your dream. But you should also still have fun while you're doing that, because that's enjoying life. It shouldn't be, I'm going to suffer through all this, and then when I get there, I'll be happy. Because then you probably won't be happy when you get there. And you probably won't even know it happened when you're there. I think the funniest thing is that we don't know how random we are or how lucky we are to be us. You know what I mean? The odds of us being here are... Have I found meaning? Yes, and it's weird for someone my age to say, I guess if I kicked the bucket tomorrow I'd be okay. Because I'm comfortable and I'm getting up and I'm learning. I always remind myself of what I have, because, come on, I'm in Lincoln Park. Did you say I have a plasma TV? I have a Mac. Look at me. I'm at least somewhat good looking. I am funny. Life is not horrible. And I will say, out of all my friends that had to go to college, they didn't know what they wanted to do. I've always known what I wanted to do. So I've been blessed in that sense. And so, yeah, meaning... it could be vague, if you wake up, and I think that's where people get lost. I'm off to find meaning. I'm going to go on these long walks or do these self-helping. What's this telling you? And it's there already, but it's already under a whole bunch of shit and clutter from back to our social media talk, what's expected of you and what you're supposed to do. And yeah, so meaning is getting on that path and looking for it. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. If you think you're doing good, you're bound to offend somebody, because everybody's right and somebody's wrong. That's why it's important to follow your heart, transcend things, because what's right and wrong now won't be right and wrong 30 years from now. Everything I describe a good person, you could still be a good person. And, he followed his heart. He killed 15 people. He's good. I was meant to kill people. That was born to do. But no, doing what you want to do, and it's really important. It really is. I think we humans innately want things to be peaceful, so to speak, and we have a code we know to follow, and that's be who you are, and it's scary sometimes because, like I said, most people don't do it. Being able to just, you know what, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do this. I don't care if I don't make it. I don't care if my lovers leave me behind. I don't care if everybody's successful and I'm not, because you have the gauge of success. Once you do that, you're gonna follow your heart. You're gonna be at peace, and I think you'll be able to give back more than money will, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think that's what makes a good person, if you ask me. I've been around a long time.